to another episode of the Organic Mindset Podcast. This is episode 11, and once again, you seeing this, so get used to it. So, man, I got my guest right here. You already see who it is, so you already know what this episode gonna be like. So, you can just go ahead and tell them about yourself, tell them what you do.
You already know Larry Williams, aka Painter, special worker, Boise Cascade.
Okay. So, man, we about to get right into it. So, what made you, start painting?
Well, really, I started back in '94 when my buddies used to paint. And this guy, he used to just paint anything. But he had some clean trucks and cars, a Wayne Golf. And I bought an old car. Man, I'm thinking it was like a 69 Skylark from my old man. And I said, man, if he can do this, guess what? I can paint too.
Yeah.
And I just started taping up and started spraying from there. And just been like a passion where hey, it ain't hard to do, but everybody can't do it.
Yeah. So what about Boise? Like, how you pretty much kind of balance those two out, and how long you been at Boise?
I've been at Boise since '97, and it's been just a push and grind. Most time, like I say, at the end of the day, if I did a half a day or whatever, or a full day, I go the rest of the day after I get out work 12 hours and go grind at the paint shop. So,
yeah,
like I say, just all about what you want. And then it started off as a hobby, but you see what it came to. It's rolling.
Yeah. So like with that balance, with you working 12 hours at Boise and pretty much, still kind of coming out to, do body work or paint, you feel like it's got easy over the years as far as, help wise or?
Well, you already know. You get older. When you get older, hey, your body starts telling you you're older.
Yeah.
But in the same essence, hey, it's easier because you know all the tricks and trades and all the little shortcuts now. Well, back in the day, it's just a learning process. So it's almost like a practice where you're almost like a surgeon where you just practicing, but you're getting better as you practice.
Yeah. So like if somebody, pretty much kind of wanted to go into that profession or that field, as far as like a trade with paint, like how would you tell them to go about it, or what steps would you tell them to take?
Really? Now these days, you can go on YouTube and pick up on anything. But in the same essence, you can start in your backyard. If you got a garage, just get you some plastic and wrap around it and just a couple little fans and go at it, but that's just one of the things, as far as you got to have a passion for it, because everybody can't paint, just like I said before.
Yeah.
But in the same essence, if you hungry and you got the idea about spraying paint, hey, that's your cup of tea,
Yeah. So like, what's one of the, I guess the biggest like differences, kind of like, obviously like I said, with you started in the 90s and stuff, like compared to now, besides, the aspect of, being able to kind of, I guess, have things more accessible as far as, like you said, YouTube and kind of, I know it's, multiple schools and stuff like that, compared to just, I guess, kind of getting up and just doing it.
Well, really now, everything is really high tech, so just like paints dry faster.
Yeah.
It's a easier process. So really now they done made it where pretty much anybody really can do it, because all the chemicals and the guns and everything. It has stepped up a lot. Everything has stepped up as far as even the quality of materials.
Yeah.
Materials. You used to have to do a lot of sanding and buffing and stuff. Now, most of the time you spray a good clear, you spray it out the gun and let it go,
Yeah. And that was kind of one of the other things I was about to, kind of touch on, just as far as even, like you said, the materials and stuff like that, like different clears and, paints and stuff like that. Do you feel like that's, you know, kind of like more of a within a 5-year range, that's something, you know, that's changed, or it kind of been, you know, evolving in a sense, kind of getting to that point?
No, they really kind of stepped up, I guess, by making newer cars and coming with different colors. They had the waterborne at first, and after that, everybody was still spraying urethanes. I mean, urethane is a good clear, but I mean, it's A1.
Yeah.
But like I said, everything just during the years they just moved up. Everything moved up.
Yeah. And like, you know, as far as like clears and paints and stuff like that, is it kind of the same aspect? Like you pretty much pay what you get for, like you pretty much paying, you know, if you pay like a high price or something like that, you get like a more quality clear, or not necessarily not necessarily the case.
It all goes to that. I mean, really, if you use a cheap paint, cheap clear, it's not gonna last long. If you use a good high quality, high solids clear and paint, I mean, hey, you get what you pay for. At the end of the day, that's just for real.
Yeah. So, in your opinion, would you rather spray old school or a newer car? You know, both of them you spraying the full thing, so you know, door hinges, you know, trunk, all other stuff, and say, you know, the old school didn't have rust. What would be your preference, or it really wouldn't matter?
It really wouldn't matter, because I mean, new cars, they just take a little bit extra time with them, but the older cars, you know, they come apart more easy. So it's really easy to spray an old car compared to spraying a new car.
Yeah. But what about, you know, because like I said, I've seen, you know, a couple of things come up there. So what about in the instance where people kind of have the mindset, kind of how we talked about, you know, a couple weeks ago, of wanting to bring a car up there and get the outside painted, but don't really have it running or something like that, almost like a storage type situation?
Restorations, that's a totally different game now. I mean, because you never know what you're gonna get into, because they can bring you a car and say, oh, well, we ain't got no rust on it. I mean, and once you pull a fender off, you got a whole pile of rust that was covered up by just the old Bondo and different things. So like I say, mostly on the restoration, you charge by the hour, because you can't charge by the job. Because if you try to charge by the job, you end up beating your own self. Yeah. At the end of the day.
And that was something else I kind of wanted to touch on too. Just pretty much, you know, with the pricing and stuff like that. You know, how like is that something that's kind of came over time, as far as being able to kind of identify, okay, you know, I know about how much time this is gonna take me. You know, I know pretty much a kind of quote on, you know, I make a couple calls, I can kind of, you know, get the parts, get the, you know, paint or whatever it may be. Like, is that something, you know, that's came over the years, or?
Kind of, yeah, because I mean, now they got the estimator where, hey, most time now you can get your laptop or your iPad and just go on this website link and just type in the damage, and it'll give you a total estimate. But I mean, from experience, you can kind of look at a car and tell, well, hey, if the frame is bent most of the time, or if some, you know, just ain't right, that needs to be rectified.
Yeah. So. Okay, so what's the worst thing that you know, ever painted? Not even as far as, I guess you would say the work that it took, but more so kind of like what it was in general. Because like I said, I know you paint, you know, a couple of things as far as trailers, you know, I ain't gonna say no 18-wheelers, but the truck itself, so.
Yeah. Most of the time I would tell you the worst thing to paint is a horse trailer. With a horse trailer, you spraying bars, and you spraying thin bars. And most time you spray that, you spraying a lot of the product in the air, because everything's not going on the trailer.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's one of the things, but that's a no for me. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't do horse trailers anymore. Back in the day, it was a hustle, but now, hey, you gotta just let that go.
Yeah. So like, kind of, you know, stepping off of that, as far as like Boise, what's been kind of like your primary, I don't want to say your primary reason, but like some of the, you know, main like benefits, you know, you kind of see with Boise compared to, you know, just having your own, you know, making your own schedule and, you know, things of that nature.
Boise was designed with me when I first came in to really just make a living, but on the same essence, I learned it was better to go ahead and try to use my 401k to advance yourself, because if they putting 6% and you matching and just putting your 6% or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, if you do that for 20 years, no telling, where you might be at, because of the simple fact, right now, that's what it's about.
Yeah.
It's just try to save much you can, or put much you can into your 401k to try to work things for the future.
Yeah, and that was, like I say, a big thing, and I kind of figured, you would say that, because I feel like, it was one of the topics I was almost swaying towards, because I feel like now a lot of people, they'll kind of get jobs in the same aspect, but kind of how we always talk about, you working 12 hours, you at a plant, you pretty much, kind of go from either high school to, straight to working. First thing you thinking about is, a car, just, pretty much kind of like a big note, and they kind of get locked in where they almost in this, lifetime contract where, you constantly working, trying to pay out, but you're not really looking at the benefits and stuff like that. So like, what are some of the other benefits, you had pretty much utilized as far as like Boise?
Just job stability, or good insurance benefits.
Yeah.
I mean, Boise has Blue Cross Blue Shield, and that's one of the better paying insurances that you can get, because I mean, you just look at the aspect now where the insurance rate's so high right now.
Yeah.
And then you get a job, some jobs you get, the insurance ain't no good. Whether you do a 80-20 or whatever.
Yeah.
But I mean, Boise has one of the better insurance policies out there right now, as far as whether you got one child or 20 children.
Yeah.
It's still gonna be the same price. So, I mean, it's got its benefits.
Yeah. And I definitely agree with that. And something else, kind of just what you having your own practice or whatever, is kind of like showing that job proof. That's something you can automatically pull. Like, okay, I work at Boise, I've been working here XYZ, so it's showing that history or whatever. I mean, granted, you've been paying for a while too, so it's like you can show that history. But just as far as having that stable check, I feel like that definitely helps out or whatever.
Oh yeah, because like I said, most of the time, having that stable check is just like a cushion.
Yeah.
And it's always good to have cushion no matter what. Just like paint on the side, that's a hustle, but that's always a cushion to put back, because it's always good to put back. No matter what, you got to put something back.
Yeah.
Whether it ain't nothing but $100 a check or $200 a paint job, you got to keep putting back, because you trying to stack up.
Yeah. So like pretty much, with your practice as far as painting and stuff like that, pretty much, I guess with having like people that, kind of come out and help you and stuff like that, do you feel like a lot of businesses, like especially, I guess you would say paint business, they kind of go down because they try to pretty much take on too big of a load, like trying to hire more people than they really need compared to just doing the work themselves?
Yeah, I mean, it really goes on to the hands-on deal where, I just like the hands-on, because if I'm doing something, I got a car in there, you got to be hands-on with it.
Yeah.
Because you know exactly what's going on, because that's your name being put on that car when you, no matter if come to your shop, And some people, they'll just come to you most time and ask, well, hey, did you paint that car or whatever? I mean, then you go back to the scenario, if you take your car to Ray Hyde or Rich Car, do you ask Ray Hyde or Rich Car, did they paint your car?
Yeah.
Yeah. At the end of the day, if you got some good workers doing some good work or whatever, hey, you got to just go with the flow, and push through.
And what about kind of networking? Because this is one of the things I wanted to talk about, like I say, because I know you know a lot of people. And I recently had like a assignment where it was kind of like, do you think a business can survive with pretty much like limited, I guess you would say, advertisement? I feel like personally, that was kind of your situation. I mean, granted, I feel like you kind of got a heads up, starting earlier before it was more so kind of technology where you just get on Instagram or Facebook and be like, let me, go take a picture of all my work and promote. So do you feel like, what I'm saying? Like, as far as networking, how did you, pretty much make that happen? Was it just more so like a word of mouth? Like, I do quality work and people talk, and you pretty much had to get out there?
It was just word by mouth. And you do one person call and they'll go tell somebody else. I mean, it just spread like wildfire.
Yeah.
And by spreading by wildfire, I mean, just like from guys from Alexandria, Natchitoches, I mean, I don't pass no business card. I got business cards, but don't pass them out, but still in all, hey, if they ask me, I give them to them.
Yeah.
But most of the time, if you do fire work, guess what? You can't have nothing but
Just speak for itself.
speak for itself.
Yeah. So what about future plans as far as expansion? Because I mean that's something we talk about or whatever. So is that something you ever like consider or just even open to as far as expanding? Like I would say possibly after Boise, because I mean of course like I say 12 hours out of your day, that's a long time. So you feel like that's something you open to or any visions on it?
I really am open to it, and I'm really going to expand within the next year.
Yeah.
Because Boise about to come to a halt. Got to put the wraps on Boise, man. Hey, they good while lasting, but guess what? Sometimes you just got to go on your own. And make things happen, and that's just one of the things that just gonna happen.
Yeah. And I feel like that's realistic. So like, have you took the time to kind of like brainstorm on some of the situations or kind of just the direction you want to go as far as expansion?
Yes, in a way, as far as maybe getting 1 or 2 more employees and just really maybe another building. But like I said, we got the space, so we just gonna see what's gonna happen.
Yeah, I respect that. So pretty much just not even necessarily towards Boise or even within painting, I guess. If you look back 20, 30 years ago, what would you tell your younger self as far as just guidance on any steps to take or any advice?
I would tell my younger self to really steady build, just build.
Yeah.
I mean, it's all about building. And you already know, when I started with 4 cross ties and some OSB, and I was plugging up electric from inside the house with lights and spraying candy on a dirt floor, wetting the water down on the floor. So, I mean, that was just one of the things, and I was putting out good candy jars, just spraying out of a little shed, man.
Yeah.
And they say this dude spraying candy in the shed, and he bring them out A1.
Yeah.
So you already know.
Yeah. So like just to give like I guess the people further like insight on pretty much the beginning, because like I said obviously you kind of talk about the situation now, and then also being able to have like employees and stuff like that, but kind of how was the situation at first, like initially starting up? Because I mean obviously you said how you started and what motivated you, but as far as the starting process, kind of how was that for you? Like did you just jump right into it, or I mean obviously you said what you just had also, but just in addition to that, like what else was it? Just kind of starting off, like some of the things that you seen then that obviously you fully upgraded to now.
It's just a trial and error. I mean, and just like we talking about the practice, it's like a practice, but in the same essence. I mean, in order to be perfect, you got to practice.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, I mean, you gonna make mistakes regardless, but the thing about making a mistake is to be able to repair or fix your mistake. And that's what makes it good, where you can push through it. So,
yeah.
But like I said, when I started off, I had plenty of help. You already know that.
Bro.
I had some good wear sandals out there on point. I mean,
yeah.
2 of them.
And what about, just as far as like other people? Because I mean, obviously, people just come and go. But, like, was it just, and I'm not asking for no specific names or anything, but was it something that somebody did that, took off a significant load, off your back pretty much, specialty as far as you not having to go out there and paint, you not having to go out there and sand, you not having to go out there and, tape something up? Like, was it, somebody that just was pretty much like a star player in a sense?
Yeah, I mean, I had a few star players.
Yeah.
And they made a difference. And the guy I got it now, he still,
yeah,
he pulls through for me. But like I said, it ain't no thing like being hands-on.
Yeah.
And I got to be hands-on about anything.
Yeah.
It's not a car that ever came through that I didn't put my hands on and was a part of it. Cause that's what makes it Larry Williams paints.
Yeah. And that's, it's like I said, I definitely feel it. Like, that's definitely important. I feel like a lot of times people kind of like lose sight and lose touch, it's like even as far as like expanding or kind of like, I feel like the average person today, doing something that's like pretty much like a trade or manual labor for 20 years, at some point they kind of like, well, let me kind of chill out. Let me just let such and such take over. I showed them how to do it. They got it,
Well, I mean, like I said, it could work like that still. But, I mean, in my thing, by being my age, I mean, sooner or later I might just say, hey, I'm going to give it up. But
yeah,
what I can still do and push through, hey, there's no reason for me to stop what I'm doing, because you already know if you get older and you stop doing something, you're going to go down.
Yeah. Yeah, especially if you're active like that.
Yeah, you got to stay active. Like I say, you do 12 hours and then turn around and go do 4 or 5 more hours in the shop. That's every day,
Yeah. And I mean, pretty much off the strength of, you just saying that, you go do 12 hours, granted, you get your, like I say, your leisure time, like you probably, eating lunch or whatever else in your 3 to 4 hours. So the average person could pretty much kind of do the math. So like, with your sleeping habits, I mean, how would you, how would you grade that? Would you say you had the best sleeping habits? Or would you?
No, I don't have the best sleeping habits, because really we do 2 weeks of days and 2 weeks of nights.
Yeah.
So it's 5 to 5 and 5 to 5.
Yeah.
So, I mean, sometimes in the daytime, I don't do no real heavy sleeping.
Yeah.
Most time I just get them little cat naps and just push on through. And at nighttime, I'm there, I'm up, you know. That's the thing. And then, like I say, in the daytime, if I get time to do something, I'll go ahead and do what I can in the shop, and then just take me about a 2 or 3 hour little nap and go back and just do what I do.
Yeah. So like, what's your motivation behind that? Because I mean, I feel like it definitely take a lot to, like physically put your body through that, in a sense, like, and I know it's, deeper than the money, because I mean, money, come and go. So it's.
Yep. Well, most of the time it's just trying to stay straight.
Yeah.
Stay fit. I mean, lately, I already know the Fitbit. I've been walking.
Yeah.
Hey, and like I say, it just being healthy, trying to stay right.
Yeah. It's understandable. I mean, it's understandable. So, with the cars and stuff, as far as you painting and stuff like that, would you consider yourself like a car fan or a car fanatic, or
I've been a car fanatic. I've been a car fanatic since I was small.
Yeah.
My mama had a Ford Maverick, a Ford LTD, my old cars, and she turned me loose. Man, it's just something about them cars, I mean, all of them.
Yeah. So like, as far as cars and stuff like that, what would you consider your top 3 that you personally own?
My top 3 will probably be the 67 Chevrolet C10 I had, the 75 Oldsmobile Delta 88 that dropped, and right now, my 72 Chevelle.
Yeah. What's some of the, just a loose, I guess you'll say, a loose guesstimate, what's some of the, specs that on some of those vehicles you just named, as far as like horsepower, just any of that, pretty much, motor, like.
Well, most time, I mean, I got one of my partners, William Slaughter, and he the LS swap guy. No matter what, this guy can swap a LS motor in a heartbeat. And he got me hip to my truck, C10 first, and I put a 6.0 in it. And with the LS swap, it's mostly designed for when you hit the highway, you can go anywhere. I mean, you can go from here to Florida, here to California, and have that comfort, that ride, that gas mileage. I mean, you have everything. And my Chevelle, it's got that 6.2 in it. So, I mean, it's a little power. Plus, it gives you that drivability. Well, you ain't got to stop at every gas pump. And if you want to go hit a New Orleans, guess what? You can ride out just like me and you ride out in your regular car.
Yeah.
Yep.
And what about the Delta 88? Like
that Delta 88, it was just stop. But hey, you already know, put them forges on there and drop that top, put that old paint on there with that grill.
Yeah.
Hey, that thing was serious, you know.
So like when you got the car, you know, you saying it was stock, like, you know, what made you, you know, get that specific car? Like, was it, you know, just flat out original, or, you know?
I wanted that drop top.
Yeah.
Everybody in the summertime wants a drop top. I mean, no matter what, you ride with that wind blowing on you and music playing. Hey, you know one thing, you riding slab.
Yeah. That's, you know, that's understandable. So as far as, you know, like the Chevelle and stuff like that, you know, when you actually, you know, plan on pulling it out like on a regular, and I wouldn't say, you know, making it an everyday driver, or would you, you know, just kind of keep it as a, you know, weekend car in a sense?
Pretty much weekend car, because I mean, that Chevelle, that's an eye catcher. I mean, you can pull up to the gas station, you can pull up to the store, you got your crowd when you come back out the store, you know.
Yeah.
And everybody wants that kind of car, because back in the day, from 70 to 72, those were the muscle cars. And most of your old generation, like the older guys, they like them old cars. And
Yeah.
that's one of the things, but you just don't find them everywhere. And by coming through and just pulling that one up, man, I had found one of my dream cars.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was about to be my next question. So do you have, you know, any other dream cars like that you would like to own, I guess, in the future or near future? Or?
If I could find me one, in which I really got my eye on one.
69 Mustang.
No, not a 69 Mustang. I seen a 71 Chevelle a guy got. It's a convertible.
Yeah.
Man, you get that convertible SS, hey, that's some real pressure there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like what your, you know, what your horsepower, what your specs just looking like as far as, you know, you already said got the 6.2 in there, but what you looking like with the Chevelle, just as far as horsepower, you never really put it on the dyno? Or?
Yeah, we ran a dyno, I think it was like 572 at the wheel. But like I said, I mean, it does good. It pulls good. I mean, I did all the up-to-date upgrades on it, so
yeah.
I mean, it do what it's supposed to do.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, like I say, you know, you got the interior done, you know, got your music and stuff like that, but you know, what's some of the, you know, other, I guess you would say, standout upgrades that you feel like, you know, you did to the car?
I went with the Coleon Forge. That's a company I just started dealing with.
Yeah.
But just also my truck, you already know. But Coleon Forge, they make some super forged wheels. I mean, they kind of really stepping on Forge right now, but hey, they always in competition. So, but to me, Coleon was a more better distributor, because I could really put my hands on these guys where I can go to Dallas and go straight to the place making the wheels.
Yeah.
On hand, other hand, with Forge Auto, who's going to California to check on some wheels?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And they can send you anything. And guess what? That's just something you gotta accept. But the people over in Dallas, man, they A1 all the way around. They give you exactly what you want.
And like with the process and stuff like that, as far as, you know what I'm saying, like you ordering them and stuff, like how did that process go for you as far as, like, you know what I'm saying, I guess you would say more on the custom side? Like,
They do more custom wheel, just like Rucci. There's a couple of companies out there now that really do the custom type deal where you know, you can do the custom colors, you can do the face, you can do the button colors, brush face, back barrel paint. I mean, it's just so many two-tone, so many things you can do to a wheel now. I mean, that it's crazy, but it's real, you know. It ain't just something that you used to see you draw or see in a magazine.
Yeah.
They bring it to the streets now.
Yeah. And like something, you know, me personally, I was amazed about was more so kind of the, you know, the floating caps, because that was something, you know, I feel like you really don't see, you know.
No, you really don't see too many floating caps. They starting to come out a little bit now, where you start to see the floating caps more often now. But it just really happened in the last year.
Yeah.
Where they just really start, just like on the dualies. I mean, you used to see American Force, guys riding around, but now they got Forges, they got Corleone again, and they got the floating cabs. They floating. They going down the road.
Just pretty much stand still in a sense,
just slide.
Just like you say, yeah.
They slide.
Yeah. And I feel like, that's a big thing, like I say. And I feel like also, celebrities have a big impact on kind of like rims and stuff. Because most of the time you hear rappers and stuff, they be talking about Forgiatos. But obviously, like I say, with Rick Ross, we talked about the rims and stuff like that, And then also just with him having his hands like in a lot of different things, that just kind of, and I think he had it on like I want to say like a Bel Air or something like that.
Yeah.
With the red ones.
Yeah.
So, that was just kind of like something that stood out to me. But I feel like, what about like prices associated with them? Like, because obviously they cost, obviously.
Yeah, they do cost, but that's all under custom.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want something custom that everybody else don't have, you got to pay for it.
Yeah.
And them guys know that, hey, we building a custom product that you're not gonna see just anywhere. So guess what? We gonna charge you a little bit to build them, but you gonna have what you want.
Yeah. And like, what about I guess just a price, like a price estimate? What somebody looking at for a full set? I say some 20s because I feel like that's a kind of cheap.
20s, they usually start average at about 5,000. That's where the rims really start.
Yeah.
And that's really a 2-piece or either 3-piece. It just varies depending on what the customer wants.
And that's rim and tire or just rims?
That's just rims.
Yeah.
That's just rims. And then you look at steering wheels, and then you got to look at the floating cap. So, I mean, all that plays in the part because who rides around with rims and look inside and see that regular OEM steering wheel in there?
Yeah.
Them guys done stepped it up now.
Yeah.
Especially in Florida,
Yeah. Nah. So like, what's the I feel like what's the biggest because I feel like I say obviously I've been kind of around just seeing your evolution in rims and stuff like that. At a point it was like swangers and then
swangers never go out of style. Mm-hmm. I mean, you gonna always get that Houston click where it's swangers and candy paint, and it kind of trickled down to Louisiana where they ride them swangers, and swangers don't get old, man. Yeah. I mean, Texas Wild Wheel, they was shut down for a minute, but they on point now. They putting out the wheels again. But just the idea, most time catch these guys, if they ain't doing 8 or better, poking, hey, you riding around on Reggie.
They say if you ain't poking, you gotta be you gotta be joking.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like I say, and that's fully understandable. But what about like just as far as like we break down just the aspects of the car and stuff like that. Even your evolution of just I feel like music in a sense. It used to be kind of like such and such 12s, 15s. Now it's just more so kind of like for the quality.
That's it. Most of the time now. I mean, a lot of people still do the trunk rattling. But
trunk rattling.
That's just that just depends on the person.
Yeah.
The younger generation, they come out, you gonna hear them before you see them.
Yeah.
But when you get up like me, you just want to roll your windows up, cut your air conditioner on, and guess what? Just listen to your music.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, that's understandable too. Like I said, because I feel like a lot of stuff kind of come with age.
Oh yeah.
A lot of stuff kind of come with age.
Age and wisdom.
Yeah. Because most of the time, like I say, with that type of stuff, it kind of is problems. It ain't like all the time you can just have music blasting loud, trunk rattling, ride by the police, and possibly not get pulled over.
No, they gonna pull you over and then give you a ticket at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So
what's the other thing we was talking about with the cars? Like as far as you was telling me about the school or the trade or something like that. Well, not really the trade, but more sort of school a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, a lot of people now going to the ceramic coating.
That's what it was, ceramic coating. I was about to say plastic dip, but I knew it wasn't.
Yeah, no, ceramic coating. I mean, ceramic coating is knocking out as far as people how they used to say about getting the wax.
Yeah.
I mean, they got a 2-year ceramic coating, 5-10 year ceramic coating. I mean, and it's just a coating you put on your car. And most time you go out now, after you ceramic coat a car, you hit it with a water hose, guess what? And wipe it off with a rag and let it go. And it look like new money, for sure. So, I mean, that's back to what we were saying before about the new age. I mean, that's something that just really kind of hit heavy, and is what it is, you know. I mean, if you ain't ceramic coated, you ain't wet.
Yeah.
You know.
And with the ceramic coat, is that more so kind of like I guess you would say it almost looked like a clear plastic, you know what I'm saying? It's more so kind of like an actual coat of like.
It's a coating they put on, but it's a gloss. I mean, it keeps it look like you just rolled up the showroom floor.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if somebody buy a new car, I would recommend, hey, go ahead and get a ceramic coated.
And was that something, you know, you personally looked into, not as far as doing, but as far as, you know, getting done?
Yeah, I mean, really, because it's something good. I mean, it's something you're really gonna put into to secure your vehicle. You know, it's a good investment.
And like what the prices estimate, you know, the price is looking like on that.
Ceramic coating, I think, depending on where you go, goes anywhere from $500 on up to $2,000 or $3,000.
Yeah.
But that depends on the size of the vehicle also, because the smaller the car, the less they're gonna charge. But the bigger the vehicle, the more they're gonna charge.
Yeah,
for sure.
So I mean, that really don't sound like a bad investment at all.
No, it's really not. I mean, it pays off in the long run. At the end of the day, it pays off.
And I was about to say, just thinking about the longevity of your car in general, it's like, you plan on having some, for your average note 5 to 6 years, especially if you just getting it brand new or even, used. If you plan on having your car that long, I feel like that'll be definitely a good investment.
Oh yeah. I mean, you can't go wrong at the end of the day.
Yeah. So man, this about to be one of my last questions, but referring to, like I said, cars again, you talked about, your dream car as far as the old school cars. Is it anything, on the newer side that really just kind of stand out to you that, you would be like, dang, I might, I seen that, I might cop that?
I don't know. I mean,
Hellcat?
No, I don't want no Hellcat, no. If I would say my next car or another car that I would look at would be that new S550. The Mercedes, that's just, that's the mothership. I mean, I used to do Cadillacs.
Yeah.
Cadillacs, they was clean. I ain't knocking Cadillacs. But when I get in that Mercedes, man, you got the comfort, drivability, the seats. If you want to get a massage, you can get a massage in the seats. You lay in that back seat, bro, you'll go to sleep up in that joker.
So you don't consider that to be like more, but like almost in a sense like I guess you'd say like a Rolls Royce type of car, like something that you got to get chauffeured in, because I mean, it's really not too many differences as far as that in the Maybach,
Yeah, it's not too far from the Maybach, but Maybach does have, more accessories off the top.
Yeah, just a little plush pillow, a little wine glass, TVs in the back.
TVs in the back.
Other than that, I feel like, that's majority, like I say, same leg room space.
Oh yeah, I mean, you got the same leg room space.
Back seats recline.
Black seats reclining. I mean, it's a mothership, you know. And that's just what Mercedes do. Yeah, Mercedes they built that car just for luxury.
Just like you about to say, just for you.
Just for luxury. Then it's still on top of that, they got the horsepower. I mean, they get up and go.
Yeah.
For to be a big car.
But that's something you pretty much got to level up to. You can't just go hop, can't just go hop into an S550, huh?
You got to crawl before you walk. That's all I can say about that deal there.
Yeah.
You got to crawl before you walk. I mean, at the end of the day, ain't nothing where you can't do or can't touch, but just
knowing his levels pretty much.
Yeah, know your levels and work through and push through,
Yeah.
You push through, you can make it happen. Yeah.
Yeah. So man, before we wrap up, you got anything else you want to tell the people just on anything, any type of knowledge, any type of, ways to get started, I guess, or anything you got?
Only thing I could probably just tell everybody, especially younger people, hey, it's always a struggle, but guess what? You can push through. What I always say, it makes you stronger for sure, So that's all I have to say.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you for getting on here.
Anytime.
Yes, sir. Man, without further ado, man, like always, I enjoyed y'all tapping in, man. If you're on YouTube, man, make sure you go like the video, subscribe to the page. But like I said, without further ado, man, peace.